recent research is suggesting that diabetes is a foundational disease for almost every other disease. And that's what makes this such scary stuff.
What is one myth about diabetes?
That it's curable, that it's reversible. Type 2. Diabetes is reversible. But the problem most people don't hear that is because Big Pharma can't make any money if you're eating food out of the grocery store and not taking pills. And I had to have my knee replaced, and they wouldn't operate on me until my A1C was lowered. And then it really hit me, right? Then it stopped being okay to be a diabetic, and it became reality to me.
The Chronic Truth Podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. The views expressed by our guests are their personal opinions and do not constitute medical advice. While we share experiences and strategies related to health, neither the host nor the guest are acting as licensed medical professionals unless explicitly stated. Always consult your physician or qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your treatment plan. Listeners assume all risks associated with implementing any information discussed on this show.
I have a very special guest on the show this evening. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Chef Jeff Grundy, a professional chef who was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and quickly discovered how confusing the advice can be. Eat more grains, cut carbs, do this, don't do that. Even with years of food knowledge, making real change was still very hard. The experience led Jeff to create the Your Diabetes Roadmap community, where the focus is cutting through the noise, taking small daily steps, and building sustainable habits around real food. I'd like to welcome Jeff.
Thank you so much. And thank you for doing this. It's just wonderful that you're, spreading the word like that.
Yes. And it's so important. I personally have so many people I'm related to that have diabetes, and also a couple that are just newly diagnosed. So tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. So basically, I've been a chef most of my life and owned restaurants and not. But when I got diagnosed, it's led me down this path to where I am now. And what I'm really trying to do is scare as many people as I can, right? Just scare them, right? And so then once they're scared to the point of action, then I take them by the hand and show them that there is a better way, that you could find a roadmap to a healthier life, right? So with all our technology and medical knowledge these days, right now over 500 million, that's with a B,
my goodness,
billion people worldwide are living with diabetes, right? And that number is climbing every year. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
It's just actually absurd, right? And so I'm one of those 500 million people. So what I found is recent research is suggesting that diabetes is a foundational disease for almost every other disease. And that's what makes this such scary stuff. Because when people have diabetes, for a lot of people, it just doesn't show up, or,
right,
a little bit here or there. But what they don't realize is inside their body, they're doing incredible damage, right? And that was me. For 15 years, I just took my meds and told myself I was fine, right? As long as I took the meds, I could eat all I needed, right? But then I had to have my knee replaced, and they wouldn't operate on me until my A1C was lowered. And then it really hit me, right? Then it stopped being okay to be a diabetic, and it became reality to me.
Then it hit you. Now, when you were first diagnosed, were you given like pamphlets or instructions on how to manage diabetes or what it was in general?
I kind of remember that I had to take a couple mandatory classes in order to get the medications.
Gotcha.
But still, I thought that applied to everyone else in the room and not to me.
Not to you. I do know several, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I do have some family members that have been diagnosed and have been living with it now over 20 some years. And one of them takes very good care, monitors, does beautifully. The other one is like a fly-by-night, seat-of-the-pants person, and probably the similar that you claim you used to be, just kind of doing whatever, and then, surgery come up, and same thing. He was denied surgery because of it.
The unfortunate part is for a lot of people, going blind is reality. Having a limb amputated is reality, but you just don't see it because you don't feel it. It creates a lot of inflammation in the body, right? And the body's always, because of the sugar, and I don't like to get into technical terms at all because it scares people away, and it just goes over the head. But what happens is it starts damaging all your organs, right? So that's why you have the heart attacks, right? That's why you have the kidney disease. They're actually even calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes now.
Oh my goodness.
Because they believe that that's what's causing it. And of course, the amputation, so it affects the nerve endings. What happens in the eyes is the vessels get too big and explode, and that's why people go blind.
Go blind, yep.
So, and it's kind of endless. People end up with worse arthritis. And that's why it's foundational to so many other diseases. And they see this correlation because 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, a lot of this wasn't prevalent. Prevalent. That's the word I want.
Yes.
Right? And then with the rise of the diabetes, all these other things are growing too. So, and I want to say that taking meds is bad. I do have psoriatic arthritis and probably couldn't walk if I wasn't taking my shots once a week, right? But that's necessary, as opposed to with diabetes, people can control it themselves without having to take their meds. Now, we're talking type 2 diabetes, not type 1. That's a whole nother story. And so that's what's taken me on this journey, is trying to help other people avoid a lot of this stuff.
When you go into your daily routine, do you have a specific diet that you stick to? Because I know when I introduced you and stuff, we were talking about, low carbs, etc. What type of diet do they recommend for a diabetic?
You have all these experts on one side saying you have to take your medication. You have on the other side people saying, oh, no, you just need to be a vegan and you can do it. All this research that everyone quotes, that's all completely different. You have to find what works for yourself.
Gotcha.
Right? If I told you what I did, you probably wouldn't do it. The only plan that works is the one you'll do. This is the way to go. This is what the experts say. So I got to do that. And it lasts maybe 6 weeks, if that long. And then they look for the next magic pill and the next one.
Yeah.
No pun intended on the pill there. I try and help people with is finding what works for them. Right? So you do one step. It's more motivational than it is anything else. Whether low carbs, high carbs, it's what works is how you know. Right? And we're all different. So you find, I recommend people start with like a glass of water in the morning. Just that simple, that easy, right? Do it for a week. And if you see your blood sugar going down, then great. Keep doing it and start something else, right? Maybe now you do a 10-minute walk. So food's important and it's the basis, but it's everything around it that makes you successful or not successful.
Beautiful.
Right? You have to change your mindset first, or it doesn't matter.
Gotcha. Now, tell us a little bit about the community that you created and built for people with diabetes.
We're just starting out. It's fairly new, but I'm pretty excited about it. But the idea is to create that community. It's incredibly difficult to change your diet. right? You can't just change it. Your body is built to eat,
Right.
right? And to store energy, because when there wasn't any food, if you didn't have that stored energy, well, you didn't survive, right? And so that's where the community comes in, that you get on the forum every day and you say, well, today was rough. Like the last 6 weeks of the holidays, I did not do good, right? And I know better. But it's just so hard.
Yep.
And so that's what we try and do small, small steps.
Very good.
As I said, first start with that water. If that works, great. Because if you go and try and change your diet completely, it just won't last.
How important is identity in reversing diabetes?
So it's everything. If you believe, well, like here's some examples. Let's say you're talking about drinking, right? You can't be saying, oh, I need to drink another glass of water because they told me I have to have glasses of water, right? Instead, say, I fuel my body with clean energy by drinking this glass of water.
Good one.
So it's like, and we have many of them to talk about. Same thing like taking a 10-minute walk after dinner is like huge, especially if you're just starting out. And it's the same thing. It's like, oh God, do I got to do that again?
Is changing that thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And that goes back to the habits.
Now, I'm going to throw a question out there. If you could talk to the you that was 15 years ago, what advice would you give the you newly diagnosed?
See, and that's tough. I don't know if I'd listen. Right? So once it goes back to what I said, I need to try and scare myself enough that I would make a change then. That I wasn't special, right? I'm like everybody else, and that the meds aren't going to help. All they do is put a bandage on it. I think that was the major thing I would tell myself. That,
Okay.
and I had done pretty good all my life, being a chef, and I've been taking supplements all my life. When I turned 50, and I always say, I got to spend my 50th birthday in a $10,000 bed with a whole host of people taking care of me. I was in the ER. I mean, not the ER. I was in the, what's it called? Intensive care.
Okay.
Right? And I think what saved me was eating good stuff up until that point and taking all my vitamins and all that stuff. Because they never figured out what was wrong with me. But anyway, so I think I'd tell myself that the meds aren't the answer. That it's eating proper whole food that's not processed.
Processed foods. Very good. What is one myth about diabetes or nutrition that you wish every listener could unlearn right now?
That it's curable, that it's reversible. The type 2 diabetes is reversible. But the problem most people don't hear that is because Big Pharma can't make any money if you're eating food out of the grocery store and not taking pills. So they keep promoting that it's not reversible and you have to take your medicine.
Gotcha.
But it truly is. I mean, there's so many, examples at this point in time.
What are some of the symptoms if someone hasn't been diagnosed with diabetes? What are some of the symptoms that would alarm someone to start looking at, maybe possibly going to the physician and seeking out some help?
For most people, there are no symptoms.
There are no symptoms.
It's incredibly difficult, but cutting down on processed foods is the key. They have the sugar. But once again, you hear so many people say this and so many people say that.
And what we feed our bodies are going to react. So you're going to get some health condition if you continually eat processed foods, unhealthy foods, sugary foods. There's a lot of conditions that you could harm your body with by not taking care of yourself in a healthy way.
And just not feeling good.
Right. Now, on the other side of diabetes, and I'm gonna put this out there because with diabetes, if your sugar gets either too high or is it too low, that's the coma. It's too low.
Yeah. A friend of mine's son passed away recently from going too low.
And I do know with having a family member, when the sugar levels dropped, it was more like the symptoms that she portrayed was a drunk type or giddy. She was giddy, not her normal, self. And so we learned keys, and our go-to, what we learned to do was, get her orange juice, get her a spoon of jelly, just something to get that in her right away. But yeah, if you don't pay attention, you can die.
Right. And that's why the monitors are so nice, because they start beeping when you get low.
How can our listeners get in touch with you?
So the name of the website is Your Diabetes Roadmap. So YOUR, diabetesroadmap.com. And then if you go /chronic, people can download for all your members my book for free. So the book, I sell it on Amazon, Your Diabetes Reversible Roadmap. They can pay $10 on Amazon, but if they go to that link, the Your Diabetes roadmap.com/chronic, they can download the book for free.
Wonderful. And if you're listening to this and you have a loved one, a family member that, has diabetes or newly diagnosed, I highly recommend, getting this resource for them. So get it in their hands so they'll be able to, take care of themselves a little better.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on and sharing this. What is one truth you can leave with our listeners?
So I guess it has to go back to what we had just said, that it is reversible. Don't let anyone tell you it's not reversible, and do tiny steps at a time, right? Tiny steps is what builds to actual success.
Beautiful. Well said. Well, it's such an honor, Jeff, to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.